Hi, it's Kevin Labates here. Plato described humanity as being chained up in a cave, unable to see the real world outside, but having to interpret what is going on by looking at shadows on the walls of the cave. And I think that's quite an insightful observation, given that he lived almost 2,500 years ago. Why am I talking about Plato and his view of reality? Well, it parallels very nicely into marketing, in that if you're trying to market and sell a product, you have this idea of what your customers are going to want, and you are not able to actually really get inside their heads. You don't know what the reality is that they're facing. You're having to make some guesses in order to actually position your product in the right way. And of course, there are things that you can do to improve the sale of your product, and the main one is to actually go and talk to your customers. And I think this is a problem that a lot of tech startups have, is you have this idea that your product is wonderful, and everybody's going to want to buy it, and everyone's going to see the value the way that you see it, and that's not the case. And in particular, people are generally looking for their pain to be removed, their problems to be solved, and that's ultimately what your product has to do. And the only way you can find out what these problems and pains are is actually talking to the people who you're trying to sell to. A lot of sales guys know this intuitively. Most technical people, including myself when I started my startup, don't, but it's a very, very important lesson to learn. And once you've learned it, you can actually, well, not get out of the cave, but at least study the shadows on the wall a bit better and interpret them a bit more clearly in order to actually make a success of your startup. And if I ever get around to launching another product, I'm certainly going to take all this kind of stuff into much more consideration than I did before. Hope you found this interesting, and see you in the next video soon. Bye for now.